But Charles, Kenneth Walker, what you saw, all the good stuff, all the missed tackles, all that stuff in between.
He is like the funniest. Like his development path is very funny to me because I think this game is probably like the biggest microcosm of like where he's changed because he used to just be, blinders on, run to the back of my O-line. Okay, that's that. But now he's like waiting like 3 or 4 yards behind the line of scrimmage for things to open up. Honestly, like I thought some of the blocks by like Abe Lucas out on the perimeter, and AJ Barner out the perimeter, like they kind of let him just sit there and wait and wait and wait and wait, and then the thing that you can't teach that he has is just being 230 pounds and 4.4 speed, and like when he gets going, it's boom, and he's off to the races. So I thought there was a lot of plays where that's also like where the talent disparity came on the Patriots side because they just don't have a lot of team speed at the second level of that defense.
Yeah,
like, Christian Gonzalez had a great game. Robert Spillane had a couple of big hits, but like there's a lot of angle erasing going on in that game, or even just a lot of broken tackles leading into angle erasing going on in that game. So his development path has been really fun, but shoot, if it wasn't going to be the kicker, it had to be, Kenneth Walker for Super Bowl MVP. And I think the way he's kind of molded his game to work for him has been fun because it's such a hard turn from where he started. And it's even sometimes it feels like even a more dramatic version of like how Le'Veon Bell used to run the ball, how Le'Veon would stop and wait and see things open. But Le'Veon, like, he was hugging the ass of his centers and his guards. Kenneth is like, he's like step back so we can see the whole picture open up. And then when it hits, he's off. Not always great because we did see a couple TFLs today where you're trying to push things to the outside and it doesn't work. But I mean, we saw it on the final run that got called back. I mean, that's what, 3rd and 13 that you're taking to the house for 60 yards. That's why you keep giving to the ball, even when it's even when it's sloppy and it doesn't look like the cleanest for him.
He's harnessed that speed. I mean, that's the best way to put it. Like he really has. Yeah. And Matt, we talked this whole year because we were kind of just saying like, hey, Zach Charbonnet is pretty good too. Like, and then he gets hurt. But one of the side effects of that was Kenneth Walker got to stay fresh. And sure enough, when he was the main character in that backfield, he got to like shine and be explosive and do all the good stuff. So Kenneth Walker, any praise for him? Or if you want to take this question to this way, because I asked you about this with the Patriots, maybe because he's a free agent, so my mind's on that. What do you want to see for the Seahawks to maybe go back-to-back? Anything they should add or want to add? Anything that you're excited about, layers, anything, et cetera, with the Seahawks to maybe go back-to-back?
Yeah, 313 yards in the postseason, 4.8 yards per carry for Kenneth Walker, 3.3 yards after contact per rush attempt in the postseason this year, and obviously made an impact as a receiver too. And does any of this happen if Zach Charbonnet doesn't get hurt in the divisional round?
Right.
I mean, and like I did, and like again, I'm not taking a victory lap on this take, but because I said that, I think I actually said it on this podcast first, but I know I said it then on the fantasy show that what if the Seahawks were just using the regular season to keep Kenneth Walker fresh for like December in the postseason. And again, I don't even know if that's really correct because Zach Charbonnet does get hurt in the divisional round, but a guy looked pretty damn fresh in the postseason. Not a guy that looked like really worn down by a lot of grinder carries, as Zach Charbonnet was kind of the guy to take those grinder carries. So, yeah, I do think that's a big part of this, and probably why I think that Kenneth Walker projecting forward is going to be a bit of a tricky evaluation because, Collinsworth said at one point tonight, like, yeah, he doesn't pass protect and he doesn't catch passes. He actually does make an impact as a pass catcher, but you just can't ask him to like catch the ball too far downfield. It's got to be like check down, dump it off the line of scrimmage. I think they used him in the screen game well tonight. The one play,
Derrick Henry almost.
His first play actually kind of stood out. I think it was his first catch of the night where JSN, I think he's in the backfield and they, leak him out in the backfield, and then Kenneth Walker runs a screen to the other side of the field. And obviously that's using a lot of the eye candy we've talked about with, JSN's in the backfield in the NFC Championship game. The Rams are losing him. I think they try. Kubiak set that up tonight. So you can use him as that in that way as a pass catcher. You just can't ask him to like run routes down the field. So he's a little bit of a tricky evaluation. He's not really for everybody. But I actually wonder if this postseason run has maybe even priced Kenneth Walker out of the Seahawks range, because I could see him getting to the open market and getting a big deal from a team that just sees the size and sees the explosiveness and, kind of says, hey, in our system, maybe in a way like a Derrick Henry, where he's just that grinder player in a run-first offense, he could be more impactful than he was in Seattle, and he could end up getting a bigger bag. I actually wonder if that has come to pass here.
Yeah, it's an interesting running back class, free agent wise. There's some Breece Hall, and I'll just keep saying his name. Tyler Algier. I know Charles doesn't want me to say his name out loud, but no, there's some guys out there. I know I'm curious. I'm very curious, kind of where he ends up, because I do think he's specific. I think they did a fantastic job of Clint Kubiak, new Raiders head coach. Did a great job of just making him very specific on what he is and when he's not on the field, I should say, protection wise, everything you're kind of talking about, his limitations, and what he can and cannot do. I think he's always a guy that needs a little bit of help in there, but man, I mean, come playoff time, which is the hardest time out there, and defenses tee off on tendencies, you have to make the touches worth it. And he did. I mean, the explosive gains, I mean, he created so much tonight. So many of those could have just been nothing, and they could have just stayed out of scoring range, and that could have changed the whole flow of the game. Maybe not, considering how the Patriots offense was going. But still, it's like he did so much. Deserved MVP. To me, I think there was just he did enough that we didn't have to tip of the cap to the defense. It's kind of hard to give one to the one Seahawks defensive guy, because it's like Witherspoon, Murphy, maybe, it's like Nwosu got the one, but that was a score.
Yeah,
Derek Hall.
Derek Hall was good. Yeah, right.
Yeah,
this is exactly the problem that we've been saying in the postseason with the Seahawks defense. Is there's not one guy. They are just they're all such good players, and I think if that was true tonight, it was if you're trying to give. If somebody had a pick six or friggin' 3 sacks or something, maybe, but it's just not how it goes with this defense.